Okay, so a lot of a voice.
Got a croaky voice.
I don't know whether what do you call a cold and what do you call a flu? What
Flu? I don't know. I've never really had the flu, but that could be either.
Oh dear, you're a doctor. You qualified?
You've got an arts degree.
Yeah. Yeah. So
your voice is different though.
Yeah, I know. It's just gone into my words. Welcome to somehow related late night.
You do a bit of Valvoline, John Laws. Sounds
you
clean.
know what I mean, Valvoline. Anyway, so I apologise, but I'm feeling okay. So I wanted to tell you, was out shopping. Went to a bookshop.
Yeah.
One of our friends, friend of the show, one of our good friends, who I didn't think has written a biography.
Oh, Lawrence Mooney?
Yes, but this is not about Lawrence Mooney.
He's written a book.
His is a self-help book.
Right.
It's called Embracing the Limitations of Your... No, Embracing Your Limitations.
About anger, apparently, or I don't know, some...
About...
So it's not about Lawrence Mooney?
Well, it's basically acknowledging that he's read a lot of self-help books, and this is his theory on it. Right. In other words, don't try to change yourself, embrace what's wrong with you. And he's right. You got to love the bad side of yourself as well as the good side of yourself, and that's the problem. People try to eradicate the bad side. You go, you know what? I got some bad shit.
It's never going away.
And it's never going away, and it has served me in certain circumstances, but you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
So you've read the book?
No, I'm waiting for it to come out on audio because, I'm an audio guy.
I wonder if he'll read it, won't he? You'd think he would.
What? He'd read it.
Yeah.
Because I just think, too, it'd be nice to hear his intonation.
Yeah, it'd be great.
So, can you guess who it might be that's written a biography? I don't think you will, but...
A biography about their life?
Yes. Like, the real deal. I mean, Judith Lucy's done them, Denise Scott's done one, and this person it's male. He's male. Your generation, you've written with him. He's been a guest on this show.
Mick Malloy.
Got his own show. Sits at a desk.
Oh, Charlie Pickering.
No.
Sean McAuliffe.
Yes.
McAuliffe. Yeah, so I saw he had a book, but is it a memoir?
I think it is.
Because he normally writes book. He wrote one about the Clinton's desk.
Yeah.
It was like pretty dense.
Yeah.
His books are normally, what's the word? Dense. Verbose.
Big words.
Oh, I would say not, a good read, but not an easy read. It's like sitting down to read War and Peace. It's like,
but he's a very intelligent man.
So this is a biography?
Well, I think so. Yes, it is.
But is it taking the piss? Because there's a few comedians like that British comedian Richard Ayoade and people like that. They write biographies, but then they go into fantasy. They go into not real stuff.
Well, I didn't have a chance to read the whole book while I was standing in Dimmicks.
Again, are you waiting for the audiobook?
I don't know. Anyway, I saw the book there. What did I do next? Come on.
You saw the book. You moved to the front of the stack.
No. I opened it up and...
Signed it?
No.
You look for your name.
Yes.
Is there an index, though? Or?
I went straight to the index. No index.
Nah, not in a biography.
So I looked at the book and I went, when did I come into his life? Around about a third in. And I went, brrr, opened it up and I saw the word fast forward. And I saw, and this is on the first opening. First opening, how random is that?
Wow.
First opening, I saw my name and what other name did
My name?
Your name.
Wow, I got to get this book. Yeah, because I wrote with him on Full Frontal.
Yes. And that's what he talks about. He talks about, look, I only read it briefly.
He came to my flat.
Yeah, he said, I think he had this is my word, not his, we had a simpatico. He said that I was hard to make laugh. Is that true? Probably am.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
But I gave him good insight and said he should do voiceovers, which I was probably...
No, well, that's how he got started on TV, because he came as a writer in 93 on Full Frontal.
Yeah.
And then he started doing voiceovers on the show, and then that segued into live performing on the show.
Oh, well, I was spot on. But yeah, but of all the people in that world, we were his gateway to the drug world of comedy. Yeah.
Can't wait to read this book.
Finally
a credit.
I'm a biography guy. I like a biography. And and it is funny reading about someone's view
of yourself.
In the world at that time. Because I'm going, I don't remember. I remember talking to Sean, but I don't remember.
I work with him. I definitely wrote with him. And then
you probably worked with him more than I did.
Yeah, because I was like a full-time writer on that show. And then he became the head writer with Gary McCaffrey. And they would get me into...
Yes.
Because they didn't really watch TV, and it was a show kind of based on TV, I remember writing Melrose Place parodies with them because they didn't know anything about...
Well, let's be honest. They're from Adelaide.
Yeah, they're from Adelaide.
So, did they...
But they didn't watch those trashy shows where I love Melrose Place, so I knew all about it. So I would sit with them and go, okay, there's this character, there's this character, this character.
And yeah, so you're perfect for those guys.
Perfect.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. I don't know whether I've worked with Sean all that much. I mean, a little bit of writing, maybe, but not much. But I have on screen. I don't think I've done that much with Sean. Have you on screen?
No, he was in the Jamone show too. We were just like bit part players.
Yeah,
we
right.
Played seagulls. You were in the seagull sketch. I think it was me, you, and Sean.
Really?
Baby Brian Nankervis, yeah.
In the famous seagull.
Famous seagull sketch. And apart from that, I worked on his sketch show, McAuliffe, where I was in it occasionally, but wrote on it with him. But again, I didn't really write with him. I just would turn up and he'd say, "We need short sketches." Okay, so
it was so true. It's so true. You need to the rhythm of get your pens out. The rhythm of a comedy show needs light and shade. It also needs different rhythms. Yeah. You need to go pop, quick joke, and then maybe a longer sketch, and then pop.
It's like a song. It's like a pop song.
Yeah. Otherwise, too often shows just go into the long sketch followed by long sketch followed by, like Saturday Night Live. As much as it's been an incredible show and launched some incredible talent, sketches are way too long and not that funny.
Yeah.
You know.
Anyway. Well, full front on that, we would tape all the sketches, film them all, and then show them to a live audience. And then once the audience reaction was gained, that's how you put them in order on terms of how they went.
Yeah.
So you always start off with the best sketches.
Yeah. Start off strong, hit them early, hit them with a
quick. Yeah. Then longer.
Draw them in. Yeah. Give them, and then we used to grade them with Russell Court. We grade them A, B's, and C.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hit them with an A off the top. Then a B, and then a couple of C's, maybe a D thrown in there, and then finish with an A going to the break.
It's like a stand-up routine.
Yeah.
What is that? That is the sound of a curtain being pulled back, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I think there will be people out there who will stop and they'll rerun it and get a pen and paper out.
People will be playing this at like the Swinburne script writing course.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be happy to come and.
Give a talk.
Well,
I've done that. It's
not that satisfying.
It's not that satisfying because they don't seem that interested.
No, I did it at my old school. I went back and I talked about my career, blah blah, and a guy at the back goes, "Are you going to do some stand up? Can you do some jokes?" Well, I'm here to actually talk about the science of my career of comedy, and not to perform for you.
Did you do any jokes or
no? I said, well, no, you're not paying me.
Well, this is the thing.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sean, we wish him all the best with his...
I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, and you know, I opened it up. I read it. It felt a bit weird reading it. I read it out to the shop. Okay.
Yeah. Everyone, I'm in this book.
I know.
I'm in it.
Yeah. It's not the first time I've done that either. The other times where I've just gone, you know.
Well, the guy who wrote Chopper always said that the criminals, as soon as they come out, would head to the bookshop and just open the pages, and then they'd rip the pages out that they were in.
Oh, really?
To take home, yeah.
To take home?
Or steal. Or just steal the book.
Take the whole book.
Yeah, they loved it.
Yeah, or like I used to do, just give it to the Brotherhood. I mean, you gave me your book and I gave it to the Brotherhood.
Up in the Brotherhood bin.
So other people could share the joy.
Exactly. And my wife found it in an op shop.
Your wife found an op shop, and you've held that as a thorn in your side for many a year.
I've had that as a routine for a long time.
And
it actually wasn't more. It was Tony Moclair, the legendary
comedian. And Tony Moclair could have just left it, but no.
He bought it and gave it to me.
And said, look, there's Glenn's name there.
Yes, funny.
Yeah, so anyway.
Here comes the music. Here we go.
I was robbed. I told you.
You were robbed.
I was robbed.
Welcome to Somehow Related Now. Please welcome your hosts Glenn Robbins and Dave O'Neill.
well, here we are. Welcome to the show. Yeah, I got an apology from last week.
What happened?
Well, when I
you
said...
broke wind on the show.
Possibly. And then featured... They do that on Sizzletown, people breaking wind.
Oh, that's very funny when they put it... that's very funny when you do that.
Oh, yeah. I've probably done it on this podcast for sure.
Yeah. No, I haven't. I'd know.
I reckon I would. Anyway, I was telling a story about Toni Collette at the Logies wearing a short dress and Peter Hellier making a joke about her.
Yeah.
Wasn't Toni Collette. It was Toni Perrin.
How did you find out?
From E Street. Well, I listened to it and went, that's not Toni Collette. But obviously was so caught up in the moment that I told that story and just said Toni Collette because it's the famous Toni. I mean, there's not many famous Tonys around, are there? Tony Barber, that's a man. But in terms of the women Tonys, there's Toni Perrin, who was on E Street.
Yeah.
Shorter woman.
Yeah.
And then Toni Collette. So it was Toni Perrin wearing the dress.
It's funny when, I do listen back to the show for quality to see how we're going.
Yeah.
And I hear the amount of mistakes I make as far as references.
It's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. The things I get wrong, and if I apologise now for what I've done in the past and what I'll do in the future.
Well,
I'll say them with confidence.
People correct us on Facebook all the time. Don't worry.
Oh, do they?
Oh my God.
Oh, really? Oh, well, lucky I don't. Lucky I don't. I don't look because. By the way, because I did something about the brain the other day about frontal lobotomy. I got the part of the brain wrong, and if people took my advice, they'd probably get the
probably got a lobotomy.
Probably got a lobotomy and got the wrong part of their brain destroyed. But anyway.
Anyway, well, we get two subjects, and we should get the subjects now. See how they're related. Where's Sam? Are you there, Sam?
Fairy bread in Hobart.
Wow.
Are you a big
Hobart person? Yes. A fairy bread person? Yes.
No, I was going to say. Well, yes and yes. No, I'm not a big fairy bread person.
Why? I love fairy bread.
Okay, let's just say you go to kids' party, and on the table there is fairy bread,
chocolate crackles.
Chocolate crackles. Well, yeah.
The cornflake one.
You're good.
Honey Joys.
Oh,
Honey Joys.
Wow. Okay, that's. I haven't got any for you. Maybe a packet of chocolate royals or something.
Yeah.
But you got to make something, don't you, for those things? You don't just bring a packet of biscuits.
A little kid's birthday party. I mean, we've had a lot of parties at our house. I think Kieran always resisted making chocolate crackles because it's got Kofa in it. That's the best bit, the Kofa down the bottom. And then Honey Joys, which are easy to make with honey and cornflakes. They're beautiful.
Just put them in the cup and put them in the fridge.
Beautiful.
See, I'm not a big fan of those.
Also, we'd always have truffles, rum balls without the rum in them, but they have marshmallow and apricot in them.
Oh, yes.
A little coconut ball.
Yeah, you're
you
expert.
Like that?
Yeah, but you're elite.
Well, only because we've had a lot of parties and I've had to make some of these. And what else did we normally have at parties? Yeah, chocolate crackles, Honey Joys, fairy bread. The kids would go, can we have fairy bread?
Now, at the kids, the best I've got is party pies and sausage rolls. They're not in that mix, are they? Oh, little boys. Will there be little boys at a kids' party?
Yeah, some, but more. That's more footy.
And
it's more. You know what's been inspired by Kath and Kim because Sharon always has.
Crack open the Tia Maria and the Footy Franks.
Yeah, so we had them for the grand final. We had Footy Franks. They're beautiful too.
I can't eat them.
Oh, they repeat a lot on you.
Oh, as soon as what are they, by the way?
Pork. They're like little pork sausages.
But again, Coca-Cola is black water.
Yeah, it's pinky.
It's pink. It's red processed meat.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful though. And
I shouldn't kill it though for people.
Well, we only eat them once a year. Basically, when you arrive, there's a bit of a spread, right?
Yep.
There's your truffles, your Honey Joys, your chocolate crackles, your fairy bread, and then a bit later you bring out the hot food.
So it's twofold.
You get the kids to sit around and we'll go, we'll have the food now. And you bring out
yes.
You have a few sandwiches.
Smart.
Mainly for the adults. You have sausages.
What sort of sandwich would you have?
Oh, we just used to do
ham cheese.
Turkey.
Turkey. Oh, turkey.
Oh,
nice.
Yes, actually chicken. Chicken was big. You get a chicken.
Chicken is across the board, whether you're at the races or whether you're at
the Greyhound Club.
Or at a kids' party.
Yeah.
The chicken sandwiches, people will light up,
Oof.
especially depending on how they're cut. I've got to admit, I like a finger.
You like a finger? Yeah. Kieran likes finger. 4 points. Cut little triangles.
I don't mind a little triangle, but a finger is bang, easy peasy.
Ooh.
2 bites.
During the pandemic, a famous caterer, was selling those finger sandwiches online. We got some.
What do you mean?
Well, he's one of those famous caterers with a name. You go, oh yeah, that guy.
Why would you do that?
Well, because he already made them and delivered them to your house.
Oh, that's
beautiful.
Good. So you just go, and that fed you. That was lunch.
Oh, beautiful.
Expensive. But they are beautiful. They are. That's got to be white bread, hasn't it? Anyway.
Yeah. And so
then
And you'd have a bowl of chips and cheesels, which get eaten.
Not
first.
chips, as in chips. Twisties?
Yeah, twisties, cheesels.
Yeah. Now, would you stand there and do one at a time, or would you take a plate and go along the smorgasbord style?
I do smorgasbord style.
So you'll take a crackle, you'll take a honey drop, whatever it's called. You'll take
fairy bread,
and
then a bit of pie and a sausage roll on the side with some sauce.
Okay, let's just drill down on the fairy bread. What is it? Is it triangles? Is it halves? Is it
triangles?
It's 4 triangles.
It's always triangles.
I thought it was halves.
You see halves, but traditionally when you think of fairy bread, I think of like a triangle shape, like a pyramid. And I think that's quarters. I'm sure. What are you thinking of a rectangle when you think of fairy bread?
No, I'm thinking of half across.
Oh,
diagonal.
yes, sorry, that's what I mean. So it's still a triangle though.
But because I'm thinking that it doesn't. Does it hold on a?
No, you're right. No,
it holds on a half diagonal.
Yes.
Doesn't quite hold on a. And when you take your half diagonal, do you eat it or fold it?
I fold it.
Now that is sacrilegious, is it not?
Well,
disrespectful.
Like it's like pizza. I fold my pizza too sometimes.
Nothing wrong with that.
But you know. Also, you got to talk about what is fairy bread. It's white bread. It's always white.
Has to be 100%.
It's got to be your
bread.
classic Bogan Baker's Delight bread.
Yep.
With butter on it. You've got to have butter on it so
the fairy bread sticks.
But then there's 2 different types of sprinkles. There's hundreds and thousands, and there's sprinkles. I know there's the little balls or the little logs.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the little logs. Yeah. So
What do you
logs are
prefer?
sprinkles, aren't they?
Yeah.
But they're not fairy. You reckon you can still have a log and call it a fairy?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. So you reckon you always need the little balls? You always for fairy.
I would say
Yeah.
that fairy bread. I'm not associating logs with fairies.
Yeah.
I'm not being inappropriate when I say that. I just don't associate. I associate your logs more with a cake, maybe.
Yeah. And when you see, like, occasionally you'll see fairy bread ice cream. Someone makes fairy bread ice cream in one of the more gourmet ice cream places, and they have the balls. They don't have the little logs. Yeah.
And what are they made of? Do you know? Is it just sugar?
This must be sugar and flavouring.
Did I read somewhere that was like wax or something? And how do they? What have they? Oh, this is interesting.
They're so small.
Do they colour them individually, then mix them all up?
Oh, that is interesting. They must.
Because you couldn't colour them you couldn't do it any other way.
Because, you can buy packets of just, I'm talking about the logs here. You can buy packets of just green ones.
And you can colour them, make them put...
Red ones.
Yeah, the logs. But can you buy packets of uncoloured hundreds and thousands?
No. So,
Tony turns up from Tony Perrin, turns up to work. She's the hundreds of thousands person that colours them. So she'd probably do a batch of red, green, blue, pink. Then she'd put all those equal ratios together and mix them all up. Did you hear that thud?
It was a big bump.
There are rooms upstairs, aren't there?
Yeah, there's people living up there.
Is there any mass murderers or anything?
Possibly. Have you seen the guys?
Yeah. Where's Terry? Haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah.
So then it goes into packets shaped like what? Bags.
Let me think about that. We've got some at home. Yeah, look, you can get them in the little jar like a spice now.
So how do you apply them? So bread goes down.
Them.
Yeah, I know. But we'll get to that. But how do you? So bread goes down on table.
Yeah.
Not one bit of bread.
No, on a cutting board.
On a cutting board, but not. And so let's just say have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, say 10
slices.
Mm-hmm. Butter's already on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you randomly sprinkle and then let it wash over, or do you go? You delicately go bread by bread.
You sprinkle. Yeah, bread by bread, and then you cut it. I don't think you cut it first.
Because I would imagine if you piled it too high, the extra hundreds of thousands that got into a little pile would just random fall off.
Yes.
It has to be stuck to the butter or the margarine.
Yes. Yeah. And it's often the first to go, fairy bread.
It's weird, isn't it?
People love it.
Because I know, it's weird. I have it for nostalgic reasons. I have a bit of that, and bang, woof, there you go. But
it's just, it does bring you back, but also, it is also one of those things that you really only get at parties. You know what I mean? Like chocolate crackles a bit like that. You don't really see them.
Hey, here's an idea.
You don't go to a shop and go, "Can I have a donut, a coffee scone, or some of that fairy bread?"
Because cupcakes were very sort of had but came back from nowhere, and they were big. They were. I remember being in New York, and they had trolleys just for cupcakes. What the?
Yeah, and before that, it was muffins and and donuts.
Why don't we open up a shop?
Fairy bread.
Glenn and Dave's Fairy Bread shop, and we'd have different,
And we both dress as fairies every day. We're wearing tutus.
This is great. This is we'd love that, and we do an ad. G'day, I'm Glenn. I'm Dave, and we like the
hello, Chris Amari's. Yeah.
You want fairy bread? We've got fairy bread. We've got what?
Fairy bread. Come
and
to
I reckon we probably meddle with the recipe a little bit, maybe.
Well, no, we'd have a vegan version.
Yes.
We have a wholemeal bread version. And then we get a bit weird experimenting, like fairy bread with schnitzel, and people go, "Oh, they've gone."
Yeah, I'm thinking sausage and fairy bread.
Yeah.
Sausage and fairy bread. The people at Bunnings are writing that down.
Man, that's disturbing.
So a treat for kids.
Yeah.
As you say, you only see it at kids' parties. You don't see it anywhere else. You don't see it down the corner shop.
No. Well, it takes a bit of preparation. And have you ever seen fairy bread that's been left for a while?
No.
Ooh.
Dries around the sides?
No, yeah. And then all the hundreds and thousands, or what do you want to call them, sprinkles, blur into the butter. Oh. So it's a blurry photo. Like colours are blurred, and it looks a bit sort of, abstract. Wouldn't be eating that.
I was in the line at the supermarket once, and I made a very good hundreds and thousands joke. Can you guess what it was?
You were in the 12 items or less, and you said, "Hey, mate, that's got hundreds and thousands."
Yeah, yes. You are a professor of comedy. I know that we are not rehearsed. I didn't even guess that. He guessed it. They made hundreds of thousands over here, 8 items or less.
And did the guy laugh or?
No, of course not. It's a dad joke.
It's a dad joke.
No, everyone just looked at me weird, and they wandered off.
Freak. Well, let's talk about Hobart. There's not much more you can say about.
Okay, first of all, Tasmania, triple ticks, love it. One of the best places in the world to visit.
Beautiful.
Everything about it is beautiful. The people are beautiful. The food, the wine.
Back 30 years.
The East Coast is magnificent. I love the fact they've got the East Coast, which is so welcoming, and then the West Coast is some parts of it are
brutal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everything about it. And you're on an island.
Yeah.
And you just go anywhere and feel welcome.
Yeah. Have you been to Burnie?
Didn't feel welcome in
Burnie? No, I've done gigs in Burnie and Davenport, and no, they're good. They're all good. They're all great.
I was about to go on stage in Launceston.
Lonnie.
Is it Launceston or Launceston?
I think it's Launceston.
I think it's Launceston. That is correct.
Yeah.
Launceston. And am I allowed to do an accent?
Yeah. Tasmanian, sure.
I think it's going to be bad Dutch. Anyway, he goes. Do you want to hear something very scary? I go, what? He goes, big tsunami coming. I go, what are you talking about? Big tsunami heading for Bali. And I go, my partner's Selena's in Bali.
Why is he telling you this?
I know.
Was it true or?
Yes.
Oh, was that year of the tsunami?
Yeah.
Oh, that was terrific.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like 15 years, 16 years ago.
No, that was the other tsunami.
That was the other tsunami.
I think this is a tsunami that didn't really
do anything.
Bad. Yeah, but Selena had to leave her resort and go up to
the mountains.
Up the mountains, yeah.
Well, when I did in Launceston, I was doing that comedy festival tour. They call it the Roadshow. And I was speaking to Hughesy on a Friday night. He goes, "Mate, Friday night at Launceston, there'll be a fight in the street." I said, "There will not. Don't be ridiculous." Because this is back in the 90s, the locals would all come into town and do laps of Launceston in their cars.
Oh, yeah.
Like circuits.
Top night. Yeah,
top night in Lonnie. Just drive around a circle.
Wow.
And I said, there's no fight in the street, but the fight came to me.
What?
As soon as I got off the phone to him, this guy got pushed into the foyer with blood on his face. And I'm like, oh, my God, what's going on? And he goes, oh, there's a fight on the street. And I said, do you want me to call the police? And he goes, I am the police. And then went back out there.
Fantastic.
It's a true story.
Oh, my God.
Lonnie. But I went back there maybe 6 years ago, and it was great, Launceston.
That is a great talkback topic. When have you nearly got into a fight?
Yes. Yeah, he was he must have been a detective.
Lucky he was a policeman because he might have had a go at you.
He was a cop.
Yeah.
And last time I went there, I saw Hannah Gadsby's brother, who I'd met when I...
What's his name?
I don't know, but he works... Because she's Tasmanian.
Yeah.
He works down there, and this was when Hannah had just Nanette had just taken off and it was
Yes.
amazing, and she was in Hollywood. And the brother goes, because they're very blue collar. Oh, the dad was anyway, whatever. He works in mines and stuff.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, gee, Hannah's doing well. I went, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He goes, and she said she was going to quit, and then it all took off. He goes, maybe you should try that. I said, it doesn't always work like that.
Yeah.
I got to quit, everyone. I'm quitting.
That's it. Yep.
See you, Dave.
Yeah. Yep. Don't try and stop me.
Don't try and talk me out of it.
Don't try. I will.
I'm not.
No, I
I'm
am
quitting.
going. I'm going to live down the coast and just
I'm
become
quitting.
a beach bum.
I'm quitting.
Yeah. See you, Dave. See ya.
2 days later, I'm sitting by
See
my
ya.
phone. No, I'll ring you up. No one's rang me, Glenn. No one seems to be concerned.
Yeah, I know. Anyway.
But Tasmania, high ratio of comedians. I've got to say, Josh Earl, Hannah Gadsby,
Both.
the bedroom philosopher.
Luke McGregor, one of my favourite. Where's he from?
He's Hobart, actually. Because we're actually meant to be talking about Hobart, aren't we?
It is Hobart.
It's not Tassie, it's Hobart.
No, but I do like to embrace the whole and then focus in. This is how I work.
Oh, that's how you work.
Come from the outside in. Paint the picture.
It's all part of the workshop.
Yeah, it's all part of it. Yeah.
I did Burnie, and then I did Rosebery. Rosebery, which is a mining town. Incredible. You drive 2 hours from Burnie into the centre of Tasmania. The mine is right in the middle of the town.
You did it with other people?
Just me.
You're incredible. You go in there.
I go in there.
By yourself, just with a microphone and a light, and you entertain people at the
Rosebery.
front. Yeah.
And they all worked in the mine. And the school only went up to year 10. And if you wanted to do year 11 or 12, you had to go to Burnie and go to a boarding school, like a government boarding school.
Right.
So most people in these towns leave at year 10 and get a job in the mine or a surrounding industry, like an electrician or whatever.
Yep.
And so all the audience were like, guys our age were granddads. Easy.
Yeah. Yep.
Easy.
Yep.
And like 22-year-olds had 2 kids. And
I am a granddad, but anyway.
You're a granddad, I know. But like, yeah, it was a really interesting town. It was great.
Yeah, no, and what's interesting about you is that you don't bring... I mean, you're one person, so not like you're bringing in a film crew or anything, so you're isolated. No. You have to step into their world and not step out of their world. So, you know.
What happened at that gig? So all the guys, the men and the women, they're all kind of similar miners, tradies. Then these 3 guys came in and sat down, and to be honest, they looked more like you. They had a nice jumper on, nice shirts, a puffer jacket.
Nice hair.
Glasses, and
Trimmed
I go, you guys aren't miners.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're not. And I said, what are you? And this guy yelled out, they're rock lickers, mate. No, geologists.
Rock lickers. Rock lickers.
Because apparently geologists lick rocks. They just to work out what sort of rock it is.
That sounds right. Yeah.
I mean, so they added a bit of a interesting value to the event.
Yeah.
But Hobart.
I'm in town to lick a few rocks. Sorry? Did you say rocks?
But Hobart, I remember going there years ago, and we went on a tour of the Cadbury factory. They used to do tours. It was fantastic.
Anything better. I've never done it, but, did you see... I mean, how does it work?
Well, it's an old factory, so it's like 1930s.
Yeah.
And so it does look a bit Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Mm. And I said to the guy at the end of the tour...
Good smell, bad smell?
No, good smell.
Good smell.
And he said, don't steal any chocolate from the conveyor belts. We'll give you some at the end.
Yeah.
I was.
You were stealing something.
I was going to steal stuff. And...
couldn't help yourself.
I said... a lot of the people look this... I don't want to be rude, but a lot of the workers look similar. And he goes, yeah, essentially we have 100 workers here, but they're from basically 3 families that have all... I know. And you know what joke did I do then? I said, you're on the Freddo Frog line. Have you got someone chopping off the extra heads? That's what I said.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
He didn't laugh.
Really?
Didn't laugh. But they don't do tours anymore. Health and safety, wowzers. But that was incredible.
Yeah.
Have you been a FOMO? What's it called?
Well,
MoMA?
That would be...
What's it called?
It's called Museum of...
Modern Art?
Mona. Museum of...
Whatever.
Yeah, doesn't matter. One of the great places I visited in the world. Have you been there?
No.
Oh, I was down there with Mick Malloy.
Good Lord.
And Mick said, we're doing a show with myself and Jeff Silson, and Mick did a good thing. He said, one, we need to go to Mona. I said, great. But first, hey, you want to go to the national, what do you call it?
The The pub.
No, what do you
Meet
do a
Malloy.
painting of yourself? What do you call it?
The portrait gallery.
The National Portrait Gallery. We go, I guess. And that's the photography one, not the painting one.
Painting one's in Canberra. Yeah. Go
Oh,
on.
I'm mixing up my gigs. You're right.
You're in Canberra now.
That was in Canberra. So he took us to the gallery, and he was in it. His trick was
Oh!
he was going to walk up and go, what's that doing on the wall?
That's a funny trick.
What happened on the way there, some people saw us and go, hey, Mickey, saw your photo. Not bad. And then we went, what? He goes, setting you guys up. Anyway, I've been to Mona, I reckon, 3 times. And
In Tasmania?
Yeah, 3 times.
So we're in Tasmania now.
Now we've left Canberra.
Right,
Canberra's your place.
Oh,
we talked about Canberra last week. Canberra's your place.
Yeah.
No, Mona, magnificent setting. Just it's like a short ferry ride from
whatever
the harbour there, and you get off, and it's on this bluff, and you go in, and then you go. The way it works is it's underground, and you catch the elevator down the bottom, and then you work your way all the way to the top. And it's set up by a guy, I forget his name, who had made a lot of money in gambling. And said he's going to give, and basically when they may charge you now, but it was free, which is incredible. The artwork is breathtaking, challenging, bizarre.
The wall of
inappropriate.
The wall of female anatomy.
Wall of vaginas. Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there's a poo room where it has a
and you can buy poo. You know. I mean,
leaf through the gift shop.
Yeah. I said to this guy next to me, "Hey, mate, cut out the middleman. Come with me. I'll get you some."
What was the best thing you saw in Mona, you reckon? Oh, the Glenn's sick. But you know what? He's so dedicated to this podcast, he's turned up.
I like the fat car.
What's a fat car?
It's like a Ferrari that's just oozes excess. So it's big and fat, and it's a big. If you Google it, it's a big red. It's a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or something.
My partner's always talked about going, but I've done gigs there. But
perfect for the family, and as I said, nothing's inappropriate there. They should balance it up. There should be a wall of penises, though. In fairness, at least maybe a coat rack. Sorry, dick
hang
jokes.
your jacket.
And then you come up to the top, and then you go to the beautiful restaurants they have around there.
Oh wow!
And wine and cheese. It's got everything, and the staff are delightful. I can't praise it enough. And
Pokey's room for the bloke who found it.
Yeah, Pokey's room. Yeah, there's you can go watch the footy.
Free tea and coffee.
Big screens for the footy and stuff. I would say it doesn't get the credit it's due because it's in Tasmania. If it was in Barcelona or in New York,
it'd be like the Guggenheim.
Yeah, it would be because beautiful building, beautifully executed, incredible art. And the whole vibe of the place is once you go in there, you can't. It's not like you look out the window to the real world. You're amongst it.
It's like IKEA. You're trapped.
Yeah.
Maybe we should start donating our profits from gambling. We're not gamblers, but maybe we should start. Get TAB after this.
Ladbrokes.
Ladbroke it. And
could you put a special bet on? Do you reckon?
You'd reckon because I'm the Ladbroke.
When the guys turn up, could you go? I got a bit of a sniff.
And we use that money to open up our own museum somewhere.
Museum of what?
Comedy.
You know what you could do?
And we do it. First off, we start small, though. Like a garage.
Well,
because I'd turn up to open up the garage and I go, "Where's the money?" Go, "Oh, no, I put on another horse and it didn't come through."
Yeah. But I reckon what you were talking about before, your knowledge of, like with your podcast with Kitty Flanagan.
Oh, junk food.
Yeah.
Snack food.
The history of snack food.
And then there's a shop at the end where you can buy it all.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing about when you see all that food. It's like when you watch that movie about the guy that just ate McDonald's for 3 months, Super Size Me.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, the credits roll and you go, "I feel like a Big Mac now."
Yeah, that's right.
That has the wrong effect.
Yeah. I think that'd be well worth it. I mean, but that's you. I wonder what I would do. Maybe I could
a surfing museum.
Yeah, maybe.
Surfboards. Just like the museum like Burt Reynolds had his own museum, just your museum, the Glenn Robbins Museum. Have the Uncle Arthur outfit.
I'd have different rooms.
Russell Coit room.
I'd have a comedy company room.
Oh, mate.
How good would that be? And I'd have Colin Fruiter in there, but he'd be animatronic. Hello, gentlemen. How are you today?
But you could convince him to come to the opening, I reckon. He's a friend of yours.
Get Mark to come down for that.
Kim Gingell to Colin Carpenter.
I'd have what else? What other room would I have?
The Russell Coit room.
I have a Russell Coit room for sure. I mean, imagine. I mean, that would be like going into a door, and it would be quite confronting, wouldn't it?
And it'd be all like, like bushes and stuff, and outback stuff, and then you could exit via the gift shop and buy a Russell Coight hat.
Yeah, but things would come out like crocodiles would come and grab you on the leg, and
Kath and Kim room. Where you could do the power walk.
Oh, yes.
On a treadmill.
On a treadmill, yeah.
You could actually walk with Kath and Cal.
You get someone dressed up as Cal and working his magic fingers. There's got to be a massage.
There's got to be a lesser room for some of these shows that people may not be aware of. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Some of the stuff I did on. Yeah. Some of the. We won't mention those.
But it's to the side if you want to go in and have a look.
Yeah, that's a special door.
Was he in that show?
Really?
I forgot that show.
Yeah. 1,000 Skies I was in. I read the other day.
Yeah. They have old clips of you in Prisoner and stuff like that.
Yeah, that would be sort of a random. Yeah, that would be a random room off to the side.
Yeah.
A bit disappointing.
And what was the question one you did out of the question?
Question
time?
That didn't go too very far.
Well, you did a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
But still, we just have a little. Yeah, at least a little poster for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, enough about me, though.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit sweaty now. It's getting a bit hard to handle.
And then we have the somehow related room.
Somehow related room. And you would get to come and sit in
like
this
I'd probably
pub,
be a guide.
A mock-up of this pub.
A mock-up of this pub.
And then they go, oh, look, there's the burgers they eat. And there's there's the drinks.
And I'd be hard on my luck. I'd be the guide. And they go, Dave, weren't you on this show? I'm like, yeah.
Don't worry about it.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm here to do the guide. I'm here to do a guide. Anyway, Hobart. What else do we know about Hobart?
Casino.
Beautiful. Oh, yeah, Rest Point.
Was that the first casino in Australia?
I reckon it was. And my friend's friend was a trombone player, and he used to be in the Rest Point Casino band, and he did a show with Spike Milligan at the Rest Point Casino. How's that?
Oh, that's interesting, because I think I apologise. I'm getting my cities mixed up again. I'm having a day of mixed up cities. I met Spike Milligan in Perth.
Did you?
Yeah. He met me.
He met you.
Yeah. I have a photograph taken, which I've got. You know how you've got your old photos, which are
fantastic.
When you print your old photos, but you put them in a box. You got your digitals. On my olds, I got me and Spike Milligan.
Wow!
And he just pointed at me.
And what was he like?
As you would imagine,
funny
quieter
man.
but delightful.
Funny man.
Yeah, very funny man.
Who do we know is from Hobart? We could call and get him to talk about Hobart. Who's famous people from Hobart?
Well, who did you mention before?
Go Luke McGregor. Who else do I know? Josh.
But now we don't want to sound like we're picking favourites here.
Well, he's the only Hobart comic I can think of, to be honest.
Let's go the other way. What numbers do you have in your phone? Have you got Luke's?
I got Luke.
Do you reckon he would mind if we rang him up?
Yeah, I'm sure he grew up
in
Hobart.
Big fan of Luke McGregor.
Very funny man.
Very funny man. I reckon I saw his first gig.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, one of his first gigs.
5 seasons of Rosehaven, which was set in Tasmania.
And no one gets 5 seasons. That's incredible. Incredible. I mean, Kath and Kim only got 3. Upper Middle Bogan got 3. Well, they got 5. They're doing something behind the scenes.
Mate, I think maybe they just asked. I don't know.
They said, "What are you doing in the next 6 months?"
Probably popular.
Much. Yeah.
Oh, well, should we try calling him? Because I want to find out what's it like growing up in Hobart. Because I expect now it'd be okay, but back then it could have been very remote, and wouldn't it have been?
When you're a kid,
yeah.
You imagine so. Yeah, we don't want to trigger him.
No.
No,
because he does do routines about how he was picked on at school.
And he has talked a lot about his trauma. But
all right.
Whatever.
Here we go. Let's call him.
I love him.
You talk to him.
He's a very funny man.
Hello.
Hey, and now, Luke, Glenn Robbins, Dave O'Neill, don't say anything inappropriate. This is our podcast, somehow related. I know you and Dave talk a lot. And you have
not that much.
Well, I know that sometimes you say have a bit of fruity talk. You're on air.
We talk enough that Dave's on my phone, so I don't say hello, Luke speaking. But I do wonder, this can't be a friendship call. Dave must want something.
Yes. Luke, I often ask Luke to do gigs with me because Luke's a big star.
I reckon, Luke. I reckon I saw one of your first gigs back in 2000. I'm going to say 8, in a bar in St Kilda at the bottom of a building.
I remember because I told my friends Glenn Robbins was there.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I just thought
I was bragging about it.
How exciting! I didn't want what Tasmanian comedians are. I mean, and it's so true. You were fantastic from the go-get. You were so engaging. and you had this demeanour on stage, which we all have got to know and love, but from the go-get. The same feeling when I saw Ronnie Chang, and I had the same feeling when I saw Luke. So anyway, I think I don't want to take credit, but if you want to, when you write your biography, I think it would be appropriate that,
there'd be at least a chapter minimum.
I'd say at least a chapter. Sean McAuliffe has just written a biography, and we were talking about it on the podcast, and Dave and I got a mention on the same page. Anyway, so that would have been when you started.
I was actually just writing it when you rang.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'll have to get a quote for you.
Did you start in Tasmania, or did you start here in Melbourne?
I started in Tassie, but it was hard because in Tassie, the audiences were so, like, it was the same audience every week. So you had to write new every time. And if you mention somewhere like, oh, yep, that's such and such from next door, like, they'd know. So there's no anonymity. Like, I had Dad yell out of the gig once, that's not true. Yes. And then Mum countered by saying, yes, it is. It's just
very Tasmanian. It's very Tasmanian.
Yeah.
Well, so how long did you do in Tasmania before you moved to Melbourne, Luke?
I was doing stand-up there for maybe a year and a half before I moved to Melbourne.
That's right. And you were like a double act with Cambo for a while, weren't you, John?
Yeah, we were. That's where we got our first one-star review from the guy who normally does the gardening column, and I think I can't remember now. But
yeah, we've all had that. We've all had the one-star review.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
I got the one-star review from the cricket writer, the guy who normally does the cricket.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
because you didn't talk about cricket enough, and there was not enough gardening in your act.
That was.
Yeah.
If I knew he was coming, I would have checked in my more gardening jokes.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember the great story when someone did like a late night show, but the guy left. He was like the gardening writer. He left at half time because he was tired. He said, I only saw the first half.
Now, we should tell Luke. Sorry,
while we're ringing him.
Why we're ringing is that our topics that are related. What are they, Dave?
Hobart and Fairy Bread.
And Fairy Bread.
We thought, who do we know from Hobart?
Hobart.
You're the only person we know.
And we just thought we can just have a bit of a chat about Hobart. Are you from Hobart?
I am. And I also like Fairy Bread.
Oh, there you go.
And so you went to school in Hobart? That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, I grew up in Glenorchy.
Oh, yeah. Most people, I know Glenorchy. Most people know Glenorchy.
Yeah.
Which is one of the nicest places I've ever been to in New Zealand. But in Tassie, it's kind of a rough area that's a little bit tricky to deliver pizzas to. At least that was my experience as a pizza deliverer.
And was it always your aim to come to the mainland, or what was when you were a kid? Did you always want to be a comedian? Did you? What was the?
No, I wanted to be a cricketer for a while, but I was terrible. Yeah. And then I wanted to be I think what I ended up with, I wanted to be like a political advisor. So I thought maybe I'd live in Canberra and like advise like on policy, because I was studying economics.
Yeah, great.
Like, comedy was kind of an accident. I was at a bar and there was a comedy competition, raw comedy happening, and someone didn't show up, so there was a spot free, and I was a bit drunk, so I just got up, and I have not stopped doing it since.
That's funny that you want to be a political advisor, and then you're in Utopia, which is kind of not dissimilar role.
Well, it's a political. Yeah. You've got to take an approach to people in that.
Well, I worked at Centrelink and Medicare, and it's being on the City Utopia was identical. And it's like, it just feels like going to work, except my lines are written for me. But it felt like I was doing the exact same thing as I was when I was working in the government.
That's funny. And also, weren't you in the same building where you used to work, and people thought you'd given up comedy and returned to work?
Oh yeah, I told them I'm quitting the job for showbiz, and then I worked at the building across the road. And because working dog is so secretive, I couldn't tell them what it was. But they just saw me going into a building across the road with a lanyard on, going, "He's just going for the job, huh?" Yeah,
I love that.
A traitor.
Oh, he said he was doing comedy. Look at him, he's over there.
Yeah,
in the office block.
Yeah. I told him he'd never be any good. Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah.
And the building wasn't as nice. They thought I downgraded
it. Yeah.
So you are proud that your family's still down there. You still have a lot of family down there. You were a proud Tasmanian.
I don't. I guess I'm. Tassie's. I mean, I like that I grew up there. Yeah, I guess I'm a proud Tasmanian, I suppose. Yeah, I never really thought about it, to be honest.
No, you don't talk about it a lot in your act by memory. I don't remember you. I mean, you talk about growing up, but it could be anywhere.
I just remember that there was, when I used to get up, people would say, "He's from Tasmania, so sorry," or "Go easy on him." And then as Tassie got cooler and cooler because all the art scene down there.
Yes.
people would go, "Oh, you're from Tassie? Ooh, fancy!" Like,
hipster.
There was a shift I can't take credit for, but I benefited from it because I look more cultured now because Tassie's so cultured.
Yes. But growing up, did you feel it was like? I mean, it's basically like growing up anywhere. Did you feel isolated or anything in Hobart?
Not at the time, just because I hadn't experienced anything else.
Yeah.
And then Melbourne, when I went to Melbourne briefly, it was so scary and so big. I was almost happy to get back. But when I started doing comedy and I could feel Tassie not having the same opportunities, then I started to feel a bit restless.
Right.
And also, if you're on the dating apps, you swipe through a lot quicker than you do in Melbourne. Not quite as many people, or you recognise a lot of people.
Well, I watched that wonderful series that you made,
Rosehaven.
Oh yeah, yes, of course, and also the sex one.
Oh yes,
loved it.
Yes.
What was that called?
Lukewarm sex.
Yeah, and you took what I loved about it. It was one of those things where you go, this is vulnerable for me, and I'm going to take an honest. A lot of the time, the documentary makers go, I know about this stuff, and I'm going to tell you about it. You went, this is scary and vulnerable for me, and you went through the journey of. Did it change you from the start to the end? Did it change you? In other words, have you got a girlfriend now?
I do. I am partnered up, and we're having sex. And I'm sorry I can't high five you guys from here, but I would. But at the time, I didn't feel brave because I just thought, well, I'm not having sex now. So worst case scenario is I continue to have no sex, which is fine because that was what I would already resigned myself to. So it kind of, in a way, gave me a little twisted sense of bravery, even if I've got nothing to lose because I'm not getting any sex at the moment.
And how was it like going back to Tasmania to do Rosehaven? Did your mum and dad get involved? Because I know your dad, one of my friends did a gig for him. He's a real estate agent, isn't he, your dad?
He is, yeah. They worried I was going to make fun of them. And then by the second series, they had like a photo of our...
And that was why
DVD.
You wrote it, you reckon? Because of your dad?
We wanted to write something we knew... And Celia was from a small town, and I had a real estate family. So I just thought that's a fun... And that puts us in... everyone in the town's lives because then they're renting from us, they're buying from us.
Yes.
Small town. Everyone knows the real estate agent. They all know the real estate agent.
Yeah.
And I just had so many stories that my dad told me over the years that, and still said so many small town things. Like I think like the pig episode was based on something that actually happened this year, where the pig got lost in the town.
Oh yeah.
So it was it was just out of that sort of for your first show role,
And your parents liked it so much they've now got a. What did you say? They've got a photo of you.
Yeah, they've got a photo of our DVD cover, and their mum's retired now, and they've changed real estate agents. But at the time, they had a photo of Rosehaven in the, in the place where all the houses are advertised. And they also let us work there for a week undercover.
Oh wow!
And we went out on inspections, and if someone recognised us, we just said comedy didn't work out, and they believed us immediately. They were like, "Yeah, that makes sense." They're like nodding along, going, "Yeah, thought so."
It's the same guy that saw you in the office. He's like, "Man, now he's doing real estate."
Yeah.
Exactly. It was not. It wasn't like, "No, you." And it's like, "Nah, yeah, that's what I thought would happen." So it was that.
If you were to go back to Hobart for a little visit, is there one thing that you always do, or is there a place you always go to? Is there a coffee shop or a beach, or do you go to Mona and just hang around? Or
I try and check out the Salamanca markets just to see what's new there.
Yeah.
It's where I discovered my Dr. Garlic, which is now my favourite condiment.
Dr. Garlic?
Yeah, Dr. Garlic. It's just a garlic salt thingy that makes all the boring dishes that I cook taste more garlicky. But it's got pepperberry and stuff. It's fancy garlic that I'm not a very good cook, and it just makes everything taste slightly better. Or if it's burnt, then it tastes less burnt because it overpowers the burntness.
Bring in the garlic, break the glass.
Yeah. So that's probably the main one. But Mona's that's the one everyone.
Yeah, we talked about Mona.
One of the best places in the world. Seriously,
that's the. I think my favourite part of Mona is actually the thing where you can. I assume you've both been there. It's got that long tube. And you can, so basically it means you're outside and then you can talk to someone 200 meters away underground through this tube. And you can, I think it's called the confession tube. I can't remember, it's got a way better name than that, but it's just fun. Last time I was there, I said to someone, I just yelled, how are you going? And this lady yelled back, good. And then she admitted to me she was having an affair.
What?
And I said, and I can't remember how we got there, but she just admitted the person she was with was not her partner, it was not her husband. It was someone else. So she just admitted to this random stranger on the outside, I'm having an affair.
There's a TV show.
That's a great.
There's your next little doco.
Well,
yeah.
Final question. Do you know any connection between fairy bread and Hobart? Did you have it as a kid growing up, or?
I did. Yeah, we used to have it almost every sort of birthday party, right up until the late teens, I think. But I don't remember it having a specific connection to Hobart per se.
No.
I don't know if fairy bread is where Hobart originated in Hobart, or who the genius inventor was.
If you were to go to a kids' party and there was, Dave, give him all the what's on our kids' party table.
There's chocolate crackles, there's honey joys, there's truffles, there's
Sausage
fairy bread,
rolls.
sausage rolls and party pies.
What are you going for?
I'm savoury, so I'll go straight for the sausage roll.
Yeah, I would too. I would too.
I'll be chocolate crackles.
Yeah, I'm not a crackle man. I'm not.
I don't like the crackles. Just I don't know. There's something. It's not. They're not quite as good as just having Cocoa Pops.
Yeah.
And they're not quite as good as having just chocolate. They're just like this sort of weird in between out.
Yeah, it's a kofa. Yeah, it's the stuff you used to coagulate at the bottom. But I like that. I like that stuff.
Well, number one, congratulations on all the wonderful things, your career. And we didn't ring you for that. We wanted to find, and you've been
but I always appreciate praise from my peers. So
and we should mention you're doing Taskmaster too. I saw that on the internet. You're one of the contestants on the Australian version. Is that right?
It is. Yeah. That was me putting it on the internet, just trying to build the brand. But yeah, it's they're doing an Aussie version with Tom
Gleeson,
Gleeson as the Taskmaster.
Yeah, that'll be great.
But we're both redheads, so I'm hoping he
goes easy on you.
On me since we can communicate telepathically.
Well, I look forward to seeing you on it. Hey, thanks, Luke.
Thanks, Luke. Go and get some garlic. We'll put some garlic on.
Are you not going to tell me where the connection is? I have to find out.
We don't know. We'll find out in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, when you listen to this back, if you listen to this podcast back, you can hear it. But we'd like to,
I will listen back. I want to know.
Yeah, you want to know. Thanks, Luke.
Thanks, Luke. Good man.
Ben.
Oh, wow. Great stuff.
This is a great show because we talk about people with your phone and my phone.
The contacts.
We've got some contacts.
Man.
I can, at the drop of a hat, I could ring up,
Spike Milligan, but he's dead.
But he's dead, yeah. But yeah, it's fun to actually go to the horse's mouth, whatever that means.
Yes.
And get them to talk.
Direct to the source.
They all sound like they enjoy coming on. We've had a very impressive list of people come on.
We have.
Yeah. So, anyway, we should have a go now, should we?
Okay,
we got to have thinking music.
Lee, let's have thinking music. All right, what are we going to have?
I reckon we should have just a little bit of Tip Top's the one, good on your mum.
Tip Top's the one.
Which is fairy bread. It can only be white bread, and that's the classic white bread ad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the prime quality wheat Tip Top shoes, full of nature's goodness. And Tip Top bake their bread the traditional, natural way, so the loaf rises to perfection with that fresher, tastier flavor of Tip Top Swiss made bread.
Good on your mom. Tip Top's the one. Good on your mom.
We can't say other bread is as good or tastes as good, so trust the Tip Top promise of fresher, tastier quality.
Oh, took me back. But, a bit sexist, I got to say. What about, good on your dad, the sandwiches were bad, bring back mum, she's number one.
Yeah, it's a good point. Very good point.
So I'll have a crack. Hobart, fairy bread was invented in Hobart. Bang, nailed it.
Well,
thank you very much.
But I think that's too broad. I think you got to...
What do you mean? It's a guess.
It's the obvious thing.
Well, nothing wrong with obvious.
I reckon you're right. It was first, but I reckon there was a fairy park.
Oh, is there where's the park with the monkeys? No, that's Launceston.
That's Bali.
Bite your face off.
Yeah, I reckon there was a park where they were eating it, and then someone said, "Oh, fairy bread, the fairy park."
Oh, okay.
In Hobart, and they said from now on it will be known as fairy bread.
Okay, What is the answer, Sam?
Fairy bread dates all the way back to the 1920s in Australia, where the recipe was first mentioned in the Hobart Mercury newspaper. The article in the Hobart Mercury referred to a party for child inmates of the consumptive sanatorium. It's probable that the term fairy bread came from Robert Louis Stevenson's book A Child's Garden of Verses, published in 1885 with the poem Fairy Bread.
Wow.
So we're both right.
Yeah.
No, you were more right
All
than
right.
me. Yeah, it was nothing to do with... I wondered why they call it that, but anyway.
You have been listening to Somehow Related with Glenn Robbins and Dave O'Neill.
So...
Did you just hear a bell ring then?
No.
Because we were in the pub and I heard a bell ring for a meal. And you know what they say? Is that in... What movie? Is that in Pinocchio or is it in Peter Pan?
Don't know.
Every time a bell rings, a fairy gets its wings.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we were talking about fairy bread and you heard a bell.
Yeah. Wow. And a fairy just got its wings.
Or a Venus Official's ready.
Yeah. Lunchtime.
Is that all we do on this show?
Yeah, that's
it. Is that what we do?
That's it.
We try to find out the answer. We have a crack at the answer.
Yeah.
And then...
We get the answer.
And
then we have lunch.
And then we have lunch.
Yeah.
And I go gargle some salt water or something.
Good luck with that.
And hopefully by next week, I'll feel better. Now, normally we'd like to finish with a joke.
I got no jokes about fairy bread or Hobart.
Oh, I did my hundreds and thousands joke.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
Jokes about... Notice we didn't do any inappropriate jokes either about Tasmania.
Well, I got to say, I got in a taxi once in Tasmania and the guy goes, "Are you from Australia?" I said, "Aren't we all?"
Yeah, exactly.
The mainland.
That's exactly right.
Hello to all the Tasmanians out there.
Hello to all. I hope somehow relates to you down and give us a call.
Score. We're coming. We're going to come to Tasmania soon, eventually, one day.